Nothing compares to the trading away at age 31 of a future potentially first ballot Hall of Fame wide receiver. And nothing compares when that receiver gets sent to the spot to have a reunion with the quarterback who in many ways is the partner in helping him become the first ballot Hall of Fame receiver that he is. And Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams are back together again. And it really is something that is remarkable, because name any quarterback receiver combination as potent as these guys, or in the realm that they're in the realm of even chasing down, who had a chance to get back together again in the NFL. You really can't. It's not comparable. 119 games these guys played together, including the playoffs in Green Bay, accounting for 8,439 yards, 76 touchdowns. And this includes 11 playoff games that they played together. And all these two need to do is connect for 3 touchdowns this year. And if they do so, and that's the idea, then Rodgers and Davante Adams would pass Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown for the 4th most prolific quarterback-receiver combination in terms of touchdowns in the history of the NFL. And then if they throw for 7 touchdowns, Rodgers and Adams would pass Marino and Mark Clayton on that list. And if they are so fortunate to continue to keep playing with each other, 15 touchdowns would put them 2nd place all time behind Steve Young and Jerry Rice. And speaking of Jerry Rice, his name was invoked by the interim head coach of the New York Jets. Jeff Ulbrich was on the 49ers back in the day, and he started throwing around some bold-faced names. I mean, these are manhole covers you're throwing around when you're mentioning these receivers, and how watching Adams hook up with Rodgers again and having Garrett Wilson in the house already, what this brings to mind for Jeff Ulbrich.
The best thing, I was fortunate enough in San Francisco to be around Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice, and to see firsthand all that Jerry taught T.O. Jerry at the time was in his 18th year, whatever it was, but so established and understood the game at the highest level. I think Davante is going to provide that same thing for Garrett and for all of our receivers. He's done this at an elite level for a long time, and on top of all of it, you're going to see exactly, that the reflection of a relationship with Aaron, how the synergy that they've had for so long. So it's an exciting time to be a Jet in that way.
As I mentioned yesterday, this acquisition of Davante Adams isn't just for Rodgers and the Jets now. It just isn't. It's also for, as I mentioned, Garrett Wilson. I'll tell the story again. I've mentioned it when I was zooming in from London a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned it yesterday when we came on the air moments after this trade took place and the news broke. And so you can understand what Ulbrich is mentioning is echoing what Aaron Rodgers said to the NFL Network crew in our broadcast meeting. And when I mentioned how the receiver room was, and Rodgers was talking about getting this offense on the same page and how they're working together and how they're trying to figure out how to get yards and scores and how they are figuring out that process and how it is a long process. And I asked if 17 would help in that matter. And Rodgers had his fun with me, tongue firmly planted in his cheek. He goes, "You mean Malachi Corley, who's the rookie wide receiver that the Jets drafted in the 3rd round, who has hardly played a lick?" And I'm like, "No, I meant Davante Adams." And he went on a very long explanation of what Rodgers can bring to the equation about how in this offense you need to have receivers not get open too fast. You need to be patient. You need to be open at the right time. You also need to, if the route calls for 5 yards and to break it off at 5 or 7 or 10, you'd have to do it there. And the person who can actually deliver that message instead of the quarterback or coach is Davante Adams. And how important that is. and how crucial that is, and how he walks into this room with the single season receiving yards record for not just one franchise, but two. He set it for the Packers in 2021, and he set it for the Raiders the year after the Packers sent him to Vegas in 2022. I mean, his bona fides are, you could just go off the charts here. He's a Hall of Famer at age 31 walking in. And Rodgers knows what he can bring to this equation, which is very exciting. Which is very exciting for the New York Jets and their fans. And I understand that. But I got to say, Adams is not blocking anybody. Adams is not playing defense. And what I saw before Davante Adams showed up over the first 6 weeks is a team that cannot play a clean football game except for that one time against New England. In week 3, in a short week, when the Patriots didn't have their left side of their line and is easily the worst team that the Jets have faced yet. And the Jets had 400 yards of total offense against them. And then they had 393 against the Bills on Monday night, but they missed 2 kicks. They couldn't defend without putting their hands on people. They couldn't stop a pass rush that missed the top 2 pass rushers for the Bills. Which leads me to believe that if I had to choose, I swear to you, if I had to choose which receiver acquired by an AFC East team yesterday will actually make a difference to win the division, let alone potentially make the playoffs, I'd go with Amari Cooper.
Ooh.
I know that's red hot.
Ooh.
Because he's not viewed as some sort of a savior coming in. He could just come in and just be part of a team that is a sum of its parts right now. That's a new part. And you know who can add it in there is Josh Allen.
Yep.
Who's an MVP quarterback right now. And who is a better quarterback than most everybody in this league. Listen, I'm all optimistic about the Jets' chances. And why not? I just laid it out for you. Rodgers and Adams can connect in their sleep. And the red zone problems that led to Greg Zuerlein coming out and blowing 2 kicks, I don't believe, I think can be fixed by Rodgers and Adams. Sure.
When you say Greg Zuerlein, who is that?
Yeah. Greg Zuerlein.
Okay,
I'm sorry. My bad.
I had to hit Google, Chris. I didn't know what he was.
Aaron and Davante can perform in their sleep. But I know I'm speaking something heretical, but in the same way that everybody's going to have to learn to play together in Buffalo, in the same way in New York, the Bills are a better team right now. They're a better football team. They're better equipped to win a football game than the Jets are. And they had their kicker miss 2 kicks, a field goal and an extra point. Mm-hmm. But they overcame it. They made the plays. They had a third-string running back making plays. They had a guy in Taylor Rapp who stopped. Brees Hall was one-on-one with him on the 3-yard line. Went out of bounds. And guess what happened? Jets got 0 points on that. Now, that could be fixed with Davante Adams. I get it. But another concern is whatever is happening in the locker room, we have no idea. Neither does, in all honesty, Rod Woodson. He's not there, but he's a Hall of Famer with a spidey sense.
Yep.
And, I mean, what he said to Susie and Amy on What the Football on Tuesday certainly jumped out off the page at me. This was his response to what Davante Adams can actually affect for the Jets, currently at 2-4, playing the unfortunately uncomplimentary football as much as they do. And it's interesting at whose feet he kind of lays it.
What are your thoughts on how he changes the dynamic of that team?
I don't know if he does. I know he's a great route runner. I know he's a special player. Collectively, it just seems like something's missing with the Jets. I don't know what it is because I'm not there. But it just seems like when you're watching it from outside in, to lose that many close games year after year after year, it's just something's not there. And normally when I say it's not there, I'm going to talk. The first thing I'm going to go to is leadership. Well, who's the leaders? Who are the leaders on the offense for the New York Jets.
Do you believe Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career or otherwise is a leader?
I don't think he is. I do not think he is. I think he has the power and he has a voice, but is he that guy that uplifts the rest of the team? Because a leader brings everybody with them, right? From the front or the back, either. But a leader galvanizes the group, making everybody feel important, making everybody feel like they belong. That's what a leader is. Is it Aaron? I'm not sure. I would think not at this stage of his career.
How about that? What'd you think of that?
I don't know how you can argue with him.
Well, I accept, he does accept responsibility when he's made mistakes. He hasn't been like laying it at the feet of everybody else. But because, again, something just is off. And if he's right that Rodgers has a voice and has power but is not leading from 1 to 53, then the Jets have a problem, obviously. And I'm sure Rodgers' response would be, well, he's not in the locker room. What does he know? I mean, you hear it from a Hall of Famer. A Hall of Famer knows it when they see it, and they can sense it when they see it. And Rod's not completely, he's not detached. He's a voice of the Ravens and is locked in Vegas. He also, by the way, was very eloquent on what the Raiders are up to and the turmoil on the sideline that we saw last week. He spoke about that on What the Football, as well as the acquisition of Amari Cooper and what is happening in Baltimore right now. And clearly, his old team in Pittsburgh. Good stuff from Rod Woodson. But something just feels off about the Jets. And I don't know if Adams is going to be the guy to fix it, unless they start winning games, 31-20.
Yeah, beat Pittsburgh Sunday night, national TV audience.
Right.
Monday we'll come back.
They
look great.
Right.
Yeah, that was the
Correct.
move.
Correct.
You know.
But you can't say that this is the wrong move for the Jets. You can't do that. I mean, this is you can flip a 2 or 3 basically for Davante Adams and say we did everything that we could while Aaron Rodgers was healthy. We did everything that we could. And but like I said, the Bills just appear to be a better sum of its parts. And then on top of it, they're 2.5 games up on the Jets and the Dolphins. They've already beaten them too on the road. They're two closest division competitors. They've already beaten on the road. And their last 3 games are the Jets at home, wrapped in between their 2 games against the Patriots. That's the way they finish. So the Bills are in a much better spot and position. And Amari Cooper going in there is just going to be, hey, man, just you do your thing. I don't know. Does he also, he's now a veteran presence in that receiver room? I don't believe so. But it's a winning move for the Jets. The question is, will it actually lead to wins? And I think the Bills are better positioned. And I think Cooper is a brilliant move for them too. And if I had to choose, obviously I'm going with the Bills right here to win the division and go further. And I know their roster isn't as deep as the Jets, but these games aren't played on paper, as Kenny Mayne once said. They're played inside television sets.
Yeah, I just threw up a Twitter poll. Maybe call us if you have a thought. Which wide receiver acquired this week will have the biggest impact the rest of the year? Cooper, Adams.
I just think, we're going to end up getting Davante Adams as having a bigger impact because of Davante Adams being the Hall of Fame receiver. And also a guy who's connected with Rodgers his entire life. And the fact that they're going to be back together again, he's going to be terrific. And he should definitely open things up offensively. It's just that, can they actually put a game together where they do that on offense and the defense actually holds, doesn't give up an opening touchdown drive in the first drive with their new interim head coach, or let third downs like the game winner for Josh Allen be easily executed, and then the kicker doesn't blow 2 kicks? Can they actually put it all together? And is Ulbrich the right guy for it? Lots more questions.
They haven't played together in 3 years.
No, I know that.
It's not like it was just a
couple
weeks ago.
No, and just one last stat here for you Jet fans to chew on here. Next Gen stats from 2018 through 2021. Targets, receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. The top quarterback wide receiver ranked combination was Rodgers and Adams. Rodgers won back-to-back MVPs in the last 2 years of that, but that's 3 years and one Achilles ago. Lots more questions. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.